Have you ever wondered why some people fall apart after one disappointment while others walk through the same fire and come out stronger than ever? The difference is rarely talent, money, luck, or opportunity. The difference is the mind they have built. A weak mind waits for life to become easier. A strong mind becomes stronger because life is difficult. Every challenge, every rejection, every lonely night, every failure carries a hidden invitation. It asks one simple question: will this break you or will this build you? Most people never answer that question consciously. They react to fear. They surrender to doubt. They allow the opinions of strangers to become louder than the truth inside their own hearts. But there comes a moment when you realize that your greatest battle has never been against the world. It has always been against the voice inside your own head that whispers, "You are not enough." Today is the day you silence that voice. Today is the day you stop asking life for mercy and start demanding more from yourself. Because the strongest people are not those who never cry. They are the ones who refuse to let pain define them. They transform heartbreak into wisdom, failure into experience, and fear into fuel. They understand that storms do not arrive to destroy them. They arrive to reveal who they really are. The world will test your patience. It will question your confidence. It will shake your faith. But if your mind is rooted in purpose, guided by discipline, and strengthened by self-belief, nothing outside of you will ever have the power to destroy what lives within you. You were not born to be controlled by fear, trapped by your past, or limited by the expectations of others. You were born with the ability to rise, rebuild, and become stronger every single time life knocks you down. So as you listen today, do not simply hear these words. Let them challenge your thinking. Let them awaken the strength that has been waiting inside you all along. Because once you build a mind that nothing can break, there is no obstacle too great, no criticism too loud, and no failure too painful to stop the person you are becoming. True strength is often misunderstood. Many people believe strength is measured by physical power, wealth, influence, or the ability to control others. But none of these things can protect a person from fear, disappointment, or uncertainty. Real strength begins in the mind, because the mind is where every decision is made, every fear is created, and every dream is either accepted or abandoned. Before you can change your life, you must first change the way you think about yourself and the world around you. Every achievement that seems impossible to others first becomes possible inside a determined mind. A person who has mastered their thoughts can face challenges with confidence, while someone who has everything on the outside may still crumble because their mind has never been trained to endure hardship. Life does not wait until you are ready. It brings unexpected loss, criticism, rejection, and moments that seem unfair. You cannot control every circumstance that enters your life, but you always have the power to control your response. That response is shaped by the condition of your mind. If your mind is filled with fear, every obstacle appears larger than it truly is. If your mind is rooted in courage, even the greatest challenge becomes another opportunity to grow. The strongest people are not those who have escaped pain. They are those who have learned to think differently in the middle of it. They understand that every difficult season carries a lesson that cannot be learned in comfort. The world will constantly try to define your worth through success, appearance, status, or the approval of others. If you allow these outside voices to control your thinking, your confidence will rise and fall with every opinion you hear. A strong mind refuses to surrender its identity to temporary circumstances. It understands that self-worth is not something handed to you by the world. It is something built through discipline, honesty, and the quiet confidence that comes from keeping promises to yourself. Every time you choose persistence instead of quitting, patience instead of anger, and purpose instead of distraction, you strengthen your mind in ways that no one else can see. Mental strength is not built in one dramatic moment. It is created through countless small decisions repeated every single day. It grows when you wake up with determination, even after yesterday's disappointment. It grows when you continue learning after making mistakes instead of allowing failure to become your identity. It grows when you stop comparing your journey with someone else's and begin investing your energy in becoming a better version of yourself. These daily choices may seem insignificant, but over time they shape the person you become. Great character is not formed during easy seasons. It is revealed and refined during difficult ones. There will always be people who doubt your potential, misunderstand your intentions, or underestimate your ability. Their opinions only become powerful if you invite them into your mind. Once you realize that your greatest responsibility is protecting your thinking, you stop giving unnecessary attention to negativity. You begin feeding your mind with wisdom instead of fear, gratitude instead of bitterness, and hope instead of despair. A strong mind is not one that never struggles. It is one that refuses to stay defeated, choosing every day to rise with greater clarity, deeper purpose. An unwavering resilience pain is one of the few experiences that every human being shares, yet everyone responds to it differently. Some people allow pain to convince them that life has turned against them. Others discover that pain can become the very force that shapes them into someone wiser, stronger, and more resilient. The difference is not found in the amount of suffering they experience, but in the meaning they choose to give it. Every disappointment, every rejection, every failure, and every heartbreak carries two possibilities. It can either become a permanent prison that limits your future, or it can become the foundation on which your strongest character is built. The choice is never easy, but it is always yours. Think about the moments that changed you the most. They were probably not the days when everything went according to plan. They were the moments when life challenged your confidence, tested your patience, and forced you to discover strength you never knew existed. Comfort rarely teaches the lessons that adversity can. When everything is easy, there is little reason to grow beyond your current limits. But when life becomes difficult, you are pushed to think differently, act differently, and become someone who is capable of carrying greater responsibility. Pain has a way of revealing both your weaknesses and your hidden strength, giving you the opportunity to transform both. Many people spend years trying to avoid discomfort, believing that an easy life is the same as a happy life. Yet avoiding every challenge often creates a fragile mindset. The smallest obstacle becomes overwhelming because the mind has never been trained to endure hardship. On the other hand, those who face their struggles with courage gradually develop emotional endurance. They learn that they can survive difficult conversations, unexpected setbacks, financial uncertainty, personal loss, and moments of deep disappointment. Every challenge they overcome becomes evidence that they are stronger than they once believed. That evidence builds confidence that cannot be purchased or borrowed from anyone else. Resilience is not the absence of pain. It is the decision to keep moving, even when pain is present. It is waking up after failure and choosing to try again. It is refusing to let rejection define your value. It is understanding that one mistake does not determine your future, and one difficult chapter does not represent your entire story. People with resilient minds understand that healing takes time, growth requires patience, and progress is rarely perfect. They stop demanding instant results and instead commit themselves to becoming stronger with every experience. There will be moments when you question your own ability, when the weight of your circumstances feels heavier than your confidence. During those moments, remember that every person who has built extraordinary character has walked through seasons of uncertainty. They did not become unbreakable because life was kind to them. They became unbreakable because they refused to let hardship steal their purpose. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" they began asking, "What is this teaching me?" That single change in perspective transforms pain from an enemy into a teacher. Every scar becomes proof that you survived. Every setback becomes preparation for a greater challenge. Every difficult season becomes another layer in the foundation of a mind that stands firm against fear, uncertainty, and every storm that life may bring. One of the greatest obstacles to building an unbreakable mind is the constant need for approval. From an early age, many people are taught to measure their worth by the opinions of others. They seek praise before they trust themselves, permission before they take action, and acceptance before they speak their truth. Over time, this habit becomes a silent prison. Every decision is filtered through the question, "What will people think?" Instead of living with purpose, they begin living for applause. The danger is that approval is temporary. It changes with people's moods, expectations, and personal interests. If your confidence depends on someone else's opinion, then your peace will disappear the moment that opinion changes. A strong mind understands that not everyone will agree with your choices, and that is perfectly acceptable. Every meaningful path requires the courage to walk alone at times. There will always be critics who misunderstand your intentions, question your dreams, or doubt your ability. Their words may be loud, but they do not have to become your truth. When you know who you are and what you stand for, outside opinions lose the power to control your emotions. You begin to realize that people often judge based on their own fears, experiences, and limitations, not on your actual potential. Their doubts belong to them, not to you. Trusting your inner voice does not mean believing that you are always right. It means developing enough self-awareness to recognize your values, your purpose, and your direction even when the world becomes noisy. Your inner voice grows stronger every time you act with honesty, keep your promises, and choose integrity over convenience. It becomes clearer when you spend less time comparing yourself to others and more time improving your own character. The more you listen to your deepest convictions, the less you are distracted by temporary opinions. Comparison is another habit that weakens the mind. In today's world, it is easy to look at someone else's success and believe you are falling behind. You see their victories, but rarely witness the struggles, sacrifices, failures, and years of persistence that made those victories possible. Every person has a different journey, a different timeline, and a different purpose. When you compare your beginning to someone else's middle, you create unnecessary frustration. Instead of celebrating your own progress, you become blind to the growth that is already happening within you. A strong mind measures success by personal improvement rather than public recognition. There will be moments when following your own path feels uncomfortable. You may lose approval from people who preferred the older version of you. Some relationships may change because growth often makes others uncomfortable. Do not mistake this discomfort for failure. Sometimes losing the approval of people who never believed in your potential is the price of becoming the person you were meant to be. Growth requires courage, and courage often means standing firm even when applause is absent. The strongest confidence is quiet. It does not need constant attention or endless validation. It comes from knowing that your value is not determined by popularity, social media, or the changing opinions of others. It comes from respecting yourself enough to make decisions that align with your principles, even when those decisions are difficult. When you stop chasing acceptance, you create space for authenticity. You stop pretending to fit into places where you do not belong and begin building a life that reflects your true character. In that freedom, your mind becomes calmer, your purpose becomes clearer, and your confidence grows from a source that no criticism, rejection, or outside judgment can ever take away. An unbreakable mind is not created by motivation alone. Motivation is powerful, but it comes and goes like the weather. Some days you wake up feeling inspired, ready to conquer every challenge that stands before you. Other days you feel tired, discouraged, or uncertain. If your progress depends only on how motivated you feel, then your success will always be inconsistent. This is where discipline becomes your greatest strength. Discipline is the decision to keep moving forward even when your emotions tell you to stop. It is the quiet commitment to your goals, regardless of your mood, your circumstances, or the opinions of those around you. While motivation starts the journey, discipline ensures that you finish it. Self-respect is built in the same way. It is not something you receive from others, nor is it something you can purchase. It grows every time you honor your commitments, tell yourself the truth, and act according to your values. When you make a promise to yourself and keep it, your confidence increases because your mind begins to trust you. But every time you repeatedly break your own promises, you slowly weaken that trust. You may tell yourself that skipping one opportunity or delaying one responsibility does not matter, but your mind notices every choice you make. Over time, those choices either strengthen your character or slowly erode your belief in yourself. The strongest individuals understand that discipline is not about perfection. It is about consistency. Missing one day does not define you, just as one mistake does not determine your future. What matters is your willingness to return to the path without making excuses. Every day offers another opportunity to choose growth instead of comfort. Every small action, no matter how ordinary it seems, contributes to the person you are becoming. Reading a few pages instead of wasting hours on distractions, exercising even when you feel tired, completing responsibilities before seeking entertainment, and choosing patience over impulsive reactions are all examples of discipline shaping the mind. These habits may appear small, but together they create extraordinary strength. There will always be temptations that promise immediate pleasure, but steal long-term progress. Distractions are everywhere, encouraging you to chase comfort instead of purpose. A disciplined mind recognizes that every decision carries consequences. It understands that today's sacrifices create tomorrow's opportunities. While others seek shortcuts, a disciplined person accepts that lasting success requires steady effort, continuous learning, and the courage to remain committed when results are not immediately visible. This mindset protects you from becoming discouraged during slow seasons because you understand that meaningful growth often happens long before anyone else can see it. Self-respect also means setting healthy boundaries. It means refusing to tolerate behavior that constantly drains your peace or damages your confidence. It means choosing relationships that encourage your growth rather than your excuses. A person with self-respect does not constantly seek validation because they already know their worth. They speak with honesty, treat others with kindness, and refuse to compromise their values simply to gain temporary acceptance. This quiet confidence becomes one of the strongest forms of mental resilience because it is rooted in character rather than approval. As discipline becomes part of your daily life, your mind begins to change. You stop seeing obstacles as reasons to quit and start viewing them as opportunities to become stronger. You no longer wait for perfect conditions before taking action because you understand that excellence is built through repeated effort, not perfect circumstances. Every disciplined choice strengthens your belief in your own abilities, and every act of self-respect reinforces the truth that your future is shaped far more by your daily habits than by your temporary feelings. A truly powerful mind is not the loudest in the room, nor is it the one that reacts to every challenge with anger or emotion. Its greatest strength lies in its ability to remain calm, focused, and fearless when everything around it seems to be falling apart. Anyone can remain confident when life is easy and predictable, but true mental strength is revealed when uncertainty arrives without warning. It is during moments of pressure that your thoughts either become your greatest ally or your greatest enemy. A disciplined mind refuses to panic before understanding the situation. Instead of allowing fear to take control, it pauses, observes, and chooses a response based on wisdom rather than emotion. Fear has a way of making problems appear much larger than they really are. It fills the mind with imaginary failures, endless doubts, and worst-case scenarios that may never happen. Many dreams are abandoned not because they are impossible, but because fear convinces people to quit before they even begin. A strong mind understands that courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is taking action even when fear is present. Every successful person has experienced uncertainty, rejection, and moments of self-doubt. The difference is that they refused to let those feelings become permanent barriers. They accepted fear as a temporary visitor rather than a permanent guide. Focus is another quality that separates strong minds from distracted ones. In a world filled with constant notifications, endless opinions, and countless distractions, the ability to concentrate has become a rare form of power. Every time you allow unnecessary distractions to control your attention, you weaken your ability to achieve meaningful goals. A focused mind knows what truly matters and refuses to waste energy on things that add no value. It understands that time is one of life's most precious resources, and every moment spent chasing distractions is a moment taken away from building the future you desired. Calmness should never be mistaken for weakness. Remaining calm during conflict requires far greater strength than reacting with anger. Anyone can raise their voice, but very few people have the discipline to control their emotions when they are challenged, criticized, or misunderstood. A calm person thinks clearly while others are overwhelmed by emotion. They listen before speaking, evaluate before reacting, and choose words that build solutions instead of creating more problems. This emotional control protects both their peace and their decision-making, allowing them to move forward without being trapped by unnecessary conflict. Life will continue to present unexpected storms. Plans will fail. People will disappoint you. Opportunities may disappear, and circumstances will change without warning. You cannot eliminate uncertainty from your life, but you can strengthen the way you respond to it. Every difficult experience gives you another opportunity to practice patience, strengthen your focus, and deepen your courage. Over time, these repeated experiences shape a mindset that remains steady regardless of external conditions. Instead of asking whether life will become easier, you begin asking whether you are becoming stronger. The greatest victory is not proving your strength to the world, but proving it to yourself. It is knowing that no setback can steal your purpose, no criticism can define your value, and no temporary failure can erase your determination. When your mind is calm, your vision remains clear. When your focus is protected, your progress becomes unstoppable. When fear no longer controls your choices, you begin living with freedom instead of hesitation. That is the moment when challenges stop appearing as threats and start becoming opportunities to demonstrate the resilience, wisdom, and quiet confidence that have been growing within you all along.